Hello everyone, welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And an amazing turn of events. The Western Province, who have not had the best Currie Cup season at all, have qualified for the Currie Cup semi-finals after beating the Sharks with a bonus point, 35 points to 24 in Durban to eclipse the Pumas by just 1 point and seal their place as officially as fourth on the Currie Cup log and get themselves a semi-final in the Currie Cup against the Bulls next weekend. They had it all to do. To the Western Province. They had to go there to Durban against the Sharks, and the mandate was simple. Either win by a margin of 24 points or more, or win with a bonus point. That was the only option they had to try and get into the Currie Cup after the Griquas and the Pumas played out to a 13 each draw earlier this afternoon. And the Western Province, well, it came down to the wire, but JJ Kotze, the man, scoring the penultimate try, but the all-important one in the 73rd minute before an intercept try from Edel van der Merwe sealed the goods for the Western Province. Before we break the game down, look at some of the stats and sort of, assess the day, really. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. As always, a big thank you to Manscaped, who are currently supporting the channel. Manscaped is the #1 choice brand for men's below-the-waist grooming. They are trusted by over 2 million men worldwide and have recently launched in South Africa. You can get yourself 20% off as well as free shipping anywhere in the world using the code FOREVER. Go and check out manscaped.com. Use the code FOREVER at the checkout and get yourself 20% off as well as free shipping. So not only in South Africa, but anywhere in the world. So, the Western Province started like a house on fire, didn't they? With a fantastic try early on. Well, 2 tries from Dan du Plessis in the first 40 minutes. First one was in the 7th minute with Tim Swiel adding the extras before the Sharks hit back through the boot of Currie Bosch in the 13th minute. But the Western Province hitting back immediately thanks to some quick thinking from Dan du Plessis with a bit of a kick and chaser in and around the right-hand side following a poor kick received from the Sharks. And that was kind of a major point in all the games, really, was the receiving from the kickoffs weren't good enough from either side and continuously allowed the other team to get into the game, which is why we saw the lead change a total of 5 times throughout the match. And I think a big reason for that was the ball sort of often being lost from kickoff, and suddenly you score a try and then you give them the ball back and they can suddenly get back into the lead. But after those 2 quick tries, you're thinking, well, here we go. The Western Province are here to play. But Yao Penkley then went over for his first of 2 in the match, the 20th minute with Currie Bosch adding the extras, before some brilliant handling and work between a couple of players. Saw Pepsi Buthelezi going in the 31st minute, Currie Bosch adding the extras. And then after half-time, well, a bit like the first half, the Western Province started like a house on fire with Paul de Vet going over in the 45th minute. A bit of a dodgy try in terms of just a lot seemed to be going on. And I think if we had to sort of break down the quick tap and where players were and where there was a bit forward and what was going on, I think you might have been able to probably find a potential reason to chalk the try off, but it did stand, and Tim Swiel added the extras, and it all sort of looked like it was going. The Western Province had really bad with the territory, but they were in the match. They had the chance, and their hopes were sort of not dashed, but definitely set back quite a lot in the 70th minute with a bit of individual brilliance from Lionel Corneo, who I thought actually struggled through most of the game. A couple of poor decisions, especially towards the end. But a fantastic piece of play off the back of a scrum, cutting inside, finding a bit of space, chip over the top, turning Edel van der Merwe, Yao Penkley having the pace to then go over in the 70th minute, Currie Bosch adding the extras. But, as I said, not the best sort of work off the kickoff and being able to sort of get yourself back into danger territory. The Western Province immediately put pressure back on the Sharks. And after the back of a bit of a dodgy line out, Sazi Sandu, who I thought had a fantastic impact off the bench, did well to maintain the line out after the penalty. And after that, JJ Kotze just sort of barraged his way over James Fenter to score the try in the 73rd. The Sharks, well over extra time, were sort of playing to try and deny them their semi-final spot and had a really good sort of 2 or 3 minutes of attacking play before a loose pass found its way to Edel van der Merwe. He tore his way through the rest of the field, going over, sealing the win, sealing the 33 points, which was then made 35 by Tim Swiel, and with it, a spot in the Currie Cup semi-final. And to be honest, I think the fact that they had to leave it quite late to win this game by a bonus point sort of shows you the sort of season the Western Province have had. But I don't think, if we're being brutally honest, I don't think that they've played well enough to have gotten a semi-final when you think of how many points needless points they've thrown away over the season. You know, from conceding 4 tries against the Bulls clubs team pretty much in that first round, to going down to the Lions, to going down to the Griquas at home in the last minute, to falling to a draw against the Pumas. You know, they just didn't really take the opportunities throughout the season to try and book themselves a spot in the semi-final. So they actually got really lucky in many ways. They did have a lot to do today, and they made it count. But, you know, if you think that game against the Bulls in the first match of the season, had it been a full-strength Bulls side, I don't think the Western Province get all 5 points, and I don't think they then qualify. So, you know, I think they've got a chance to jump into something quite special. I don't think they've had a particularly good season, but if they go and beat the Bulls, for example, then you can't really sort of argue their credentials. But it's a very big test which awaits them next week. In terms of some of the stats, possession-wise, 45-55, pretty even. Defenders beaten 17 apiece. More clean breaks from the Western Province, more offloads as well, but also more turnovers conceded. In terms of defense, Western Province missing 11 tackles to the Sharks 14, 6 turnovers apiece. If we look at some of the player stats, I thought a couple of players who sort of stood out for me in both sides. I mean, Dan du Plessis and Yao Penkle, both with a brace. Edward van der Merwe running over 100 meters, beating quite a few defenders. John de Jong had some very good moments on the attack. I thought Pepsi Buthelezi was pretty good today. You know, defensively, Pepsi Buthelezi, 15 tackles, a match-wide high. The next best was Brand Squabala, who I thought was pretty good as well. He got 10, Kieran van Vuuren got 12. So the Sharks doing quite a lot of the defending. Werner Koch, as you'd imagine, the top tackler in the back line. For the Western Province, their defensive efforts, Johan de Toy, 9 tackles made, 2 turnovers, 1 as well. Dan du Plessis, 7 tackles made from him, a decent outing. It was a very close and quite an edgy type of match where it wasn't always the prettiest game. It didn't always have the structure that you kind of want in a game, but it was almost that messiness, that doggedness, which sort of characterized the situation in terms of a team being so desperate to try and qualify that it didn't matter if they weren't playing pretty rugby. It didn't matter if it wasn't always going to be, you know, champagne stuff. It was hard-fought desperation which really sort of pulled the Western Province through the game and into the semi-finals. Whether they can go any further, well, we'll have to wait and see next week. We will be live for both those games, so you can come and hang out with us. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go and check out manscaped.com, 20% off, as well as free shipping using the code FOREVER. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought about that game down in the comments below. Commiserations to Pumas fans. Big congratulations to Western Province fans. We'll reconvene in a week for the Currie Cup semi-finals as we now reach the real business end of calling Black Label Currie Cup. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.